do not be a people pleaser for anyone. Don't allow yourself to be ran over, disrespected, and just put anywhere other people want you to be, because that does not serve you. You know what I'm saying? And in order for you to really tap into what serves you, you need to tap into that dark feminine to see what you want to say yes to and what you want to say no to. And your no is a hard no. Like, you don't need an explanation behind your no. A no is a no. And that's something you realize when you're tapping into that dark feminine. Okay. Mm. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about the dark feminine energy, different traits that relate to the dark feminine, and the dark feminine in today's modern society. So if you guys are interested in this topic, then please stay tuned. So this is a very personal topic to me because I'm currently in my life as we speak going through my own dark feminine awakening. I'm feeling things that I've never allowed for myself to feel truly in my life before. And it's so interesting, but it feels so freeing and so empowering. So I just want to kind of talk about it and share this with you guys today. So, to the feminine, there's a dark and a light. Now, in today's modern society, we've been conditioned as women to be in our light energy majority, if not all of the time. And we've been taught that anything related to the dark feminine is seen as evil, demonic, wrong, whatever. Okay, all of the terms you can think of that correlate to those. That's what we've been taught to associate the dark feminine with today. There are positive and negative traits of both the dark and the light. So when you're in your light, you can be in harmony or you could be too far in. When you're in your dark, you could be in harmony or you could be too far in. There is not one set like way of being in either. It's a spectrum. So there's a range of energies no matter if you're in your light or your dark. So the best way to be when it comes to this is to be in harmony with your light and your dark so they balance each other out. Okay, whatever harmony means to you, because again, I believe that every woman has her own flavor. So you can be like 60% light, 40% dark, 60% dark, 40% light, depending on who you are, and that could be your balance. Okay, I'm not saying it has to be like half and half, so don't equate the word balance to like 50-50, because we never agreed to 50-50 on this channel. Okay. So yes, when it comes to light energy, some beautiful aspects of light feminine energy are like being open, inviting, loving, compassionate, warm, nurturing, being a healer. Like, those are the beautiful aspects of the light. Now, when you're too far into your light, which has been taught to women today that this is how we should be, that's when you're passive. That's when you're being a people pleaser or a yes woman, a yes girl. You don't have a backbone. You don't have a say so. You kind of just go with the flow. Even when you want to say no or you know something is not sitting right with you, you tend to just go with it because you're afraid to speak up. You're afraid to put your foot down and you're afraid to like own your decision. So you just kind of let things be. Like, you don't, you just kind of have no direction of your life. You let other people and other things direct what you have going on. So when it comes to the dark energy, some beautiful aspects of dark energy are being able to have boundaries as a woman, being able to know your limits as a woman and knowing when to say no, knowing when to say something is not sitting well with you. Dark energy has to do with healing internally, because you have to go through the dark in order to see the light. You have to dive into your traumas and do shadow work in order to heal. So healing energy is associated with both the light and the dark. Seduction, sensuality, and seduction is associated with dark energy as well. But just this overall sense of like, I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what's a yes to me, what's a no to me. I'm not afraid of how I'm perceived by the public. Like, I'm going to live how I am without fear of judgment. I'm not afraid to be in my sensuality. I'm not afraid to show my body. I'm not afraid to be a woman as I was created, basically. That's the dark feminine energy. Now, again, in today's society, the dark feminine has been looked at as a thing that we should just stay away from, while we've been taught to be more in our light energies, be more compromisable, be more submissive to men, be more, we're just taught to be very easy going. Just, let him make the decisions, or let whatever. Like, we're taught to be very, like, bendable and flexible and adaptable, even to things that we don't want to do. Now, again, there is no inherent good or bad thing. So it's not a bad thing to be adaptable and moldable to certain to things. But if it's something that you don't want in your life, then you should be able to say no, right? But those things are looked down upon in today's society. Let me just give up my own personal example of how I've represented the light and the darks, and like how I am today. I'm gonna try to do it like in a quick little summary. So for me, I've known since I was younger that I was more dark energy than light, meaning I knew what I wanted. I I always knew my boundaries. I was always very in tune with my sexual energy when I was since I was younger, and not even like with intercourse and stuff like that. I just have always been in tune with my feminine essence when I was younger. Just like mysterious dark energy rather than like bubbly and like inviting and stuff. I just was never completely immersed in that. I have those aspects, I have those traits about me, but I was never like the bubbly girl. I was always like the mysterious, like very intuitive. I can look at someone and see like where their energy is at. Don't let me feel that person's energy. Like, I can feel everything about them. So I've just always been really like, I'm an Aquarius, so I've been very like amethyst, third eye, sixth sense type of person since I was younger. So I'm just more ruled by the darker energies. So I've always known that my energy was more dark than light. But as I grew older, I began to shift way further into my light energy, to the point where I didn't even like recognize myself. I began to not even know who I was, and I didn't even like see that dark aspect of myself. I began to question everything, like question everything of who I was previously. I went through many experiences that made me become very meek. And what I mean by meek, I mean I became very quiet, timid, shy, introverted, passive, very, very passive. Oh my gosh, like I could have somebody yelling in my face and I would like shy away from that because I became so passive. I became a people pleaser. I never stood up for myself. I never stood up for the things that I just knew like I did not want to do that, or like it just didn't sit well with me, but I didn't speak up for myself when it came to those things. Even when it came to sexual experiences, like I allowed myself to have sexual experiences that I was not okay with and I did not want to have with that person or in that moment or whatever the case may be. But I did anyway because I wasn't speaking up for myself. Now, mind you, you guys have to understand, like, I've healed from all of these things at this point in my life. So speaking about it doesn't trigger me or anything. And I'm not putting the blame on myself, but I am taking accountability where I played a part. So use this as an example. Like, it's not for me to blame a guy for doing certain things or whatever, but I have to take responsibility where I could have said something or could have done something and I didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? So I was so far into my light energy to where as though I was just like this shell of a person. Like, I was just, and then when I got into like feminine energy healing, I began to think that like, oh, I was supposed to be super submissive and docile and moldable and compromisable and adaptable to some man and like ego boost him and like all of this stuff. And again, those things are not like bad, but how I was like thinking of it, I was so far gone, y'all. Like, there was like no backbone. Like, there was just nothing. So I just began to realize very recently, this is just like within the last week. Now, mind you, I've already began my sexual healing journey back into myself. So I already began to like live freely in my body as a woman without caring about how people think about me. But when it comes to like speaking up for myself, reopening my throat chakra, allowing myself to speak for myself, allowing myself to experience anger, allowing for myself to experience rage when I feel it, and to heal and deal with those energies and emotions properly instead of bottling them up and then like exploding like a shaken soda bottle, right? So it wasn't until this past week where I literally was walking to the market. Like, it was just so random. I was walking to the market, y'all, and I just had this weird epiphany. Like, I was just walking through the matrix, just looking around, like doing my thing, and I'm like, something's not right. And mind you, it's so crazy because this was on the full moon. This was during the full moon on the 6th where these things, I just realized these things. So I'm walking and I was like, you know what? I feel like I've been so far gone in my spirituality, so far gone in like this humble, docile, open heart chakra, love to everyone type of person, to where as though I lost that part of me that needs the ego, that needs the self-confidence, that needs that fire. You know what I'm saying? Because the ego is not a bad thing. It's just overuse of it that becomes a problem. So I realized that without my ego, I didn't have a sense of direction because I didn't know what I wanted to accomplish. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what I wanted. Like, I was just kind of like, oh, love everyone, love, peace, healing the earth, like spiritual energy. But I was so far this way, I didn't have any like fire in my belly. So I was having this conversation with myself, and then over the past couple of days, today's the 10th, so over the past 4 days, I just started like awakening to the fact that, oh my God, like, I started thinking about past like arguments and like times where people were in my face and times where guys done me wrong. Like, certain, like, I just had started having moments pop up that just brought so much rage to my body, y'all. And then I would just like go one by one and like say what I wanted to say in that moment, or like think what I wanted to do in that moment. Like, I just kind of like let all the energy play out. And when I tell y'all, that felt so satisfying. I cannot make this up. Like, I can't. Like, it felt so good to curse somebody out that needed to be cursed out. It felt so good to tell this guy off that played in my face that needed to be told off. It felt so good. And I'm not recommending for you to go around cursing people out, but you got to understand, for me, this was pent up energy. This was years of like being done wrong, being cursed out, being no backbone, like nothing. So when it came up, I'm not even going to discuss the things that I didn't visualize. It was just crazy, but it felt so good because it was like the first time in my life that I felt like I stood up for myself. Like, the first time in my life where I felt like, you're not going to play with me like that. You know what I'm saying? And if anyone can resonate, let me know in the comments, because I know that this is a trend for a lot of women. I know some women hold on to their fire, and that's amazing for them, but there's been so many women that have been conditioned to be so light energy and like super submissive and whatever, to where as though they lost that dark energy, that fire in their belly, that power to the solar plexus, because that's your confidence and your ego and your sense of identity is in your solar plexus. So when you're not experiencing those, when you have low self-esteem, or you like have no sense of direction, no sense of identity, you don't know who you are, you're experiencing lack of confidence and stuff, that's your solar plexus. And tapping into that power of like just raw passion for myself made me feel so alive. And it's just interesting to even explain it like that, because it is basically passion. Like dark energy, dark feminine energy is essentially passion, but it's passion for you. Like it's your dark feminine. Is, mind you, you can also relate it to like a mama bear, like a mama bear whose cubs are in danger. How does she react? That's her dark feminine. So you can have that towards other people, but when you have a lack of it for yourself, that's trouble, because you're more there's more of a chance that you are like that people pleaser, or you get ran over, or you get disrespected, or you don't get what you deserve. Do you see what I'm saying? And even when it comes to men, use that dark feminine energy. Now, mind you, there's healthy boundaries around all of it, your light and your dark. And again, I'm not advocating to go around cursing people out, but do not be a people pleaser for anyone. Don't allow yourself to be ran over, disrespected, and just put anywhere other people want you to be, because that does not serve you. You know what I'm saying? And in order for you to really tap into what serves you, you need to tap into that dark feminine to see what you want to say yes to and what you want to say no to. And your no is a hard no. Like you don't need an explanation behind your no. A no is a no. And that's something you realize when you're tapping into that dark feminine. Another thing that I want to say that I kind of said, but I want to explain it this way too. You can relate that to like this death and rebirth energy. And the only reason why I just thought about that is because that's Scorpio energy. And if you can think of a Scorpio, okay, typically, now mind you, everyone's different depending on their what's in their chart placement. But if you could think of a Scorpio, typically, Scorpios are ruled by dark energy, period. Majority of their energy is dark. They are typically very seductive, very sensual, they very sexual people, very like dark mysterious people, like they're very persuasive, like they're just typically darker energy people. Now they could use that in healthy or unhealthy ways, right? But when I think of dark feminine or dark masculine, whatever dark energy, I always think of like a Scorpio, in like the sense of, again, that sexuality and that death and rebirth, because I believe in tarot, the death and rebirth card is symbolized by Scorpio energy, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but just that energy of like willing to go into your darkness, willing to go into your traumas, willing to go into those fears and really release them in order to be rebirthed into your light. Because you got to understand too, like your light energy will never be in harmony if you're not releasing those traumas, if you're not doing that inner work. Because it's like, well, how do you really know, how you truly want to treat people, how you truly want to open your heart chakra, how you truly want to be compassionate and loving and caring, if you have all this pent up inner work and trauma and like heartache and stuff. So, oh my gosh. But I just wanted to talk about this because I'm talking about like today. I've been doing inner work around my dark feminine, and I was just sitting here going through visualizations and like releasing certain energy and like just crying and like cursing people out energetically and like releasing all this energy. And I was just like, no, I have to talk about this. Like, this is crazy. Like, I was like, I have to talk about this. This is insane. Like, I feel so good. And then I literally was turning on the camera and I was like, oh, I got somebody else I want to curse out too. I was just like, Oh my God. And it's just crazy because as women, like, we're taught that like anger and rage is not okay, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to be nice and sweet. Like, oh my gosh, think about like corporate spaces or like office spaces where they're always like super fake nice, and you can tell when somebody doesn't like you, or you can tell when somebody talks smack about you, but like they're so fake nice, they're so fake light energy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When you work somewhere and you just know that person don't like you, and you know you don't like that person, but it's just so conditioned, especially in women. It's just so conditioned to be fake light energy all the time. Like, and it's just like, no, like, you don't have to like that person if you don't like that person. If you know that they're inauthentic and their energy is off or whatever, you're not gonna tell me I gotta be friends with this person. Like, I'm not here for friendship. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't, and again, don't go around just being rude and mean and nasty to people, but there's levels to it. Sometimes you need to be a B. Sometimes you need to put your foot down. And, you know, dark energy is also related to being selfish, because when you're selfish, you have your boundaries. When you're selfish, you don't overgive. You don't give beyond what you have. You know what I'm saying? You don't give to your detriment. So, there definitely needs to be like just an understanding of the dark feminine better. You know what I'm saying? Just an understanding, because even when it comes to like Adam and Eve, Eve is more representative of that light energy. Lilith, which is Adam's first wife, is more representative of the dark energy. But if you read the stories of Lilith, they've made her out to be some crazy demonic lunatic. And it's like, oh my God, because she didn't want to do what this man was telling her to do, like, it's not given. There's healthy ways to express your dark energy, and one that I would definitely recommend is like, if you are experiencing anger, rage, sadness, anything like that, let it out and release it, but do so in a way that is healthy for you and for the people around you. You know what I'm saying? So like, whether it's journaling, whether it's screaming in your car, screaming into your pillow, beating your pillow up, whether it's crying about it, talking to God, like whatever gets that energy out, because there's nothing worse than having backed up dark energy. Trust me. There's nothing worse than having backed up anger, resentment, sadness, whatever, and just like walking around fake smiling like everything's okay when you're really about to rip somebody's head off. Okay. So, yes, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for listening. I love you guys so much, so much. And hopefully, this helps you guys on your divine feminine paths. I'm here for y'all. That's what I'm here for. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.